It's Conor here at IESE Business School in Barcelona. And what I wanted to share with you this week, do you know what the greatest distance in the universe is? The distance between what you could do and what you actually do. And one of the things that I see so often in people with a lot of potential, people with a lot of intelligence, people with an opportunity to really make a difference in the world, is because there's so much that they could do, they remain in that possibility, in what they could do. They don't turn the intention of what they could do into actions. And I see this in myself so often. I wake in the morning and I have the intent to be a good teacher, to be a good leader, to be a good father, to be a good son, to be a good husband. But sometimes during the day, that intention does not turn into action. Very often the actions are small. They don't feel big enough to match the intent. It's listening, being there, making the call, listening. And for me, I find it's so easy to just stay in your intent. I often hear people talking to me, you know, Conor, this successful person, he does this. I could do that. We all could do many things. What leads to success is how you consistently do it day after day, week after week, month after month. To be fit, back 8 years ago, I decided fitness is important. And it's not important as an intention, it's important as an action. And one of my monthly goals is to run 100 kilometers every month. And I think anyone can run 4 kilometers in a day. The question is, how do you keep it so that day after day, week after week, month after month, when it's sunny, when it's raining, when it's cold, you get out and month after month you are accumulating the miles. And same, connecting to people. We all could be good friends. We all could be connected to the people around us. We all could ask more questions about how people around us are doing. The question is, how do you turn the intent into action? Because it's only action that really makes a difference in the world in which we live. And this danger, I think the more potential you have, the more dangerous it is to live in your potential and not turn it into action. Stephen King, the author of the crime fiction books in the US, Stephen King says he was so lucky. He was born only good at one thing. He's terrible at everything else. There's only one thing that he's moderately good at, writing these books. And because he's bad at everything else, he's published so many books. For many of us, we have been cursed. We've been born good at several things. Great at one or two, good at many things. And the danger is, it's not the things you're bad at that's going to kill you. It's all the things you're moderately good will take you away from the things that you should be dedicating your time and energy on. There's a story that comes from Warren Buffett, where Warren Buffett has, in his company, Berkshire Hathaway, apparently they have 2 private jets. And one of the pilots hired by Berkshire Hathaway is called Steve. And after several years working at Berkshire Hathaway, the story goes that Warren saw Steve, the pilot, one day, and he says, Steve, you've been with us now for 6 years. You've been flying the planes. He says, here at Berkshire Hathaway, I like to see people develop. I like to know what it is that they want to achieve in their life. So Steve, why don't you take some time and put together a list of the 20 things that you want to achieve in your life. And take the time to do this well. Make a good list of the 20 projects that if when you're old you look back, you've got these 20 things, you have used your life well. So Steve, as a pilot, takes some time, and a pilot waits around a lot. You have a lot of time. And he works over a couple of weeks to have a list of the 20 projects that if he achieved these 20 things, this would be a great use of his life on this earth. And he finally gets an opportunity to say to Warren, Warren, I've got the list, I've done my 20. So Warren says, okay, good. Now, second step, I want you to identify the top 5. Of all the 20, I want you to compare them all and find the 5 most important of all the 20. And take your time to do this well. I don't want any accidents. I want to know these 5 are the most important of the 20 most important projects for your life. So Steve goes away, and by now the paper has coffee stains, multiple colors, it's wrinkled. And it's a few more weeks of comparing and thinking and reflecting, and finally he's able to identify the 5 most important projects that he would like to do in the rest of his life. So finally he gets the opportunity, he says, Warren, I've got the list, I've got the 20, and I've entered the 5 most important. Warren says, good. Steve, what are you going to do with number 6 to 20? And Steve looks at his list, he looks at the 5, and he says, well, clearly the top 5, I'm going to put effort in, they are really important. But number 6 to 20, they're important as well. Maybe not so important, but if an opportunity were to come up to move forward on number 7, number 10, number 13, if an opportunity came, well, I guess I would take it and move forward on number 7. And Warren said, no, number 6 to 20 are your never touch list. It's not Facebook that's going to distract you from doing the 5 most important projects in your life. It's number 6 to 20. It's getting clear that number 6 to 20, the things that are kind of important to you, these are the things that are going to easily pull your time, energy away from the 5 most important things. The reason you won't achieve the 5 most important things in your life are number 6 to 20. And I think this idea of turning potential into action, of deciding what is important and making sure that every day you make positive, forward, action-driven progress on the 5 most important things requires that you learn to say no. And Warren Buffett says integrity. His test of integrity for a person is they say no to most things. If you're not saying no to most requests for your time, most requests for your energy, most requests for your attention, you're spreading your energy amongst thousands and thousands of projects that are someone else's priority, but not yours. And clearly in our lives, we're part of a social world where we do need to share some of our energy with other people, but we need to be very careful that for the most important people in our lives, there's a lot of energy, and for the most important projects of our lives, there really is energy. And I find this concept of being super careful to not stay in what you could do, but in deciding to commit to taking action, and don't stay in potential, turn it into actions that have an effect. And thousands and thousands of little actions make a much bigger difference than one great intention never turned into action. So reflection for this week: the greatest distance in the universe is the distance between what you could do and what you actually do. And every day, if we stop and look at our day, we're going to be frustrated with ourselves because we start each day with so much potential. We finish each night having done so little of what we could have done in the day. But if you've taken one step forward, no matter how small, with the most important people in your life, with the most important projects in your life, one small step each day, no matter how small, you're making a difference. And I think action, once you start to take consistent action and get movement on something that's important, that attracts things into the world, into your life. I think it's Goethe, the German, who said, when you commit fully to a project, the universe moves to make it happen for you. But you need to commit to taking that action, turning the intent into action day after day. So a bit of a rant here from the classrooms of IESE Business School, but I hope that you take this, and there's one action that was going to stay an intention that you today commit, that you will make sure that that turns into an action today. Have a good one. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your questions. And again, it's the evening here. This video was going to stay a potential, was going to stay I could make a video. But I forced myself to pull the camera out, even though I was tired and didn't want, and made 2 or 3 drafts. But I was determined I'm going to finish this thing, because one action completed makes a difference in this world. Have a good one.